can't ignore them little moments and them energies because they be there. You be trying like the night before I quit. For some reason, it was the night before Halloween. I just felt the energy like you're not gonna make it. You're not gonna make it. Like you're gonna have to leave. And it was like, should I wait till the end of the year? And that energy was like, no, tomorrow. That was the first time in my life that was something speaking to me that I didn't have control of. It was like, no, you got to quit tomorrow.
Hey, everybody, it's Mike, and you're watching the Reelblack podcast. And today we've got a very, very special guest, a young comedian who's going to be headlining at the Punchline Philly this Sunday, May 7th, 2023. If you don't know him, now you know. Mr. Desi Alexander, welcome. Applause, 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 applause. Hey, this is the Moving Target Tour, though.
Yes.
Talk about it.
Man, the Moving Target Tour, I named it that, coined it that, because I do a lot of things and I'm requested in so many different ways. And sometimes this tour is to show that I'm trying to be everywhere at one time. So everybody's requesting, but at the same time, I want to be present in all these things that I love to do at the best of my ability, being a stand-up comedian, being an actor, being a writer, doing my sketches online, being a dad, a husband. It's like everything is going on at one time and people don't realize as comedians, we're like superheroes, man. So just being a moving target is just like I'm all over the place, but I'm still maintaining all this stuff. So
okay, well, I definitely want to come this Sunday and check you out. So, I mean, for those who've never seen a Desi Alexander show, what can they expect?
You can expect to know me like you can expect to feel like I'm just talking to you. Like every show I make my audiences feel like that. I have a personal relationship with everybody that attends my shows, all of my followers. Some people may say it's unhealthy, but I literally have a personal conversation with everybody that reaches out. You know what I'm saying? So it's really like another reunion. As we get older, we don't get to, a lot of families don't have family reunions or class reunions. We're just so busy in our lives. I just use comedy shows to bring everybody together. So you want to expect a very funny, true live story of just different things that's going on in my life. And I'm updating you guys and putting it in the material.
So if you're watching, folks, Reelblack folks, come out to see Desi. You will definitely become part of his congregation.
All right, buddy, it's time to lay it down. This is not a drill. You talked all that trash about how good it was. Now it's time to see if the proof's in the pudding. And we're going to stroke a little bit and give a little bit of the hook and... Hold up. Wait, I never had this kind before. What? You okay? I told you it was good. No, I'm not okay. The engines are malfunctioning, Captain. We have to slow down.
We have no control over what's happening right now.
My whole body is about to have an orgasmic experience.
Those of us who like to venture to the
Is that Morgan Freeman? Her stuff come with a Morgan Freeman dialogue? Oh, she's trying to pull me in it? Oh, no, you got to get up. This is too good. Get up. Take control. Take control.
I mean, I've been checking out the last couple of days on Instagram, and I have to say, I follow you. And it pops up, and I love your reaction videos.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
I mean, is that how you got your start? I mean, how did you get your start in comedy?
In comedy, I started with stand-up first.
Oh, okay.
Like social media was like the commercial to bring people to shows, and having I would say a brilliant mind of just like a bunch of just quirky things. You can't just only rely on stand-up. My brother always told me, like, bro, like you have so much material. Some of the stuff you're just gonna have to do online because everybody at every stage can't see it all at once. So you have all these ideas, and just sometimes the sketches help paint the pictures that you're trying to, convey to make everybody laugh. So, but stand up was first. People don't believe that. That's why they come to shows and be like, I thought you was just a social media dude, but stand up, I did stand up first.
Okay, and well, talk about that. I mean, you're from Baltimore.
Yes.
Right. Is that where you got your start doing stand up?
Yeah, man. I was working at Singular Wireless before they got shut down.
Yeah.
And
I probably sold them some money. Yeah.
Yeah. And around that time, I just I had went out on a date with a lady friend of mine, and I remember going to it was a restaurant called Burke's, and downstairs was the restaurant, upstairs was the comedy club, the Comedy Factory, and I always want to know the person that sat me in that seat because I may have not have been a comedian. If that hostess didn't put me right, they put me right near the steps to the comedy club upstairs. So like my desk, my table's here, and the steps to the comedy club was right there. And I kept hearing laughter while I'm talking on this date. And I was like, "Excuse me, what is going on upstairs?" And the lady was like, "It's a open mic upstairs." And I was like, "All right." And I just kept eating, and the person I was with was like, "Yeah, you should do it." And I was just like, "No, I didn't think about it." that's when I went to work and I like looked it up because it was on my mind so much after that. Like, because I always loved comedy, but I never knew where to go to start it. I always felt like you had to know Cedric Entertainer or DL Hughley or something. I thought you had to be grandfathered in. I didn't know there was like places that you can start, and signed up for it, invited all my coworkers, and once I told my first joke, I feel like every comedian, once they tell what they know at exact moment, like once I told my first joke and I just realized, I just looked, I felt like everybody was laughing at the same time. I just was looking across this crowd like, yeah, I'm gonna do this for the rest of my life. And after that, I was sold, man. So yeah, I failed in that comedy contest because I went on stage too long. Because I was supposed to do 5, but I was having so much fun. I was just like, and I just started going on and on and on. And it was like, no, we're gonna still bring you back because you was funny. How long you been doing this? And I was like, today. And it was just like, oh no, man, you definitely gotta like work on your timing. You can't sit down on stage. Cosby earned that. You ain't earned that yet. Don't sit down on stage. And it was like a lot of the OGs, and they was giving me a lot of gems and stuff, and that just kept me doing stand up, man.
Yeah, I know DC has a very legendary comedy scene that goes back as far as Martin Lawrence and Dave Chappelle. I mean, who were some of the people that you came up with when you first started doing stand up in Baltimore?
Growing up, like I was named after Eddie Murphy Delirious. That joke on Eddie Murphy Delirious, the joke he has about Desi on is. My father named me after that joke.
Wow.
And everybody in my family has a name after somebody important or a grandfather or. And I asked my dad, I was in high school. I said, what did I ask my mother first? And she was like, no, your father named you. So you ask your father. And he was like, I was watching Eddie Murphy Delirious. And that joke he said about Desi on was just mad funny. And that's it. And I was like, wow. But I came up like because of my dad, you know, I had so much of a stand-up sense of like just appreciating stand-up. Because when you're a kid, you're kind of laughing at their mannerisms and watching Richard Pryor act silly, Eddie Murphy changing his voice and stuff. But when you become a teenager, you start to understand the material. You really realize you be laughing like, oh, this was you really talking about. So it was like I appreciated it so much because I was still laughing the same as I was as a kid, watching, you know, growing up watching, you know, Richard, Dave, you know, and Eddie and Bill and those old joints. My father had records. You know what I'm saying? I used to sneak downstairs, listen to my father, they down there smoking weed, just tripping. And then evolved to the Def Comedy Jam age and the Comic View age. I've always been a fan of it first. You know, but I never knew that I could actually do it. I always had a sense of humor, but I never knew I could actually do it. So,
right. But I mean, what's the comedy scene like in Baltimore?
when I started, it was tough because there was not a lot of open mics. So that's why I always have a love for the art community because that's where I really got my groundwork done because there wasn't a lot of open mics to go to. So I would sneak to poetry nights and little R&B nights and lie and say I was I was a poet. And I would get on stage and I would start explaining myself like I'm about to do a poem and just do a set and then make everybody laugh and leave. That was like my only stage for a minute, man. And that's why I always and after a while they started looking at like, yo, you really be like, you really don't do do poetry, do you? I'm like, nah, this is the only time I get to get up and actually perform and do stand-up and work on my material. And they started letting me, you know, do jokes in between bands setting up. And they had a love and respect for me. So that's why I always feel like they gave me a home to like come to, aside from like the shows that I was trying to put together myself or jump in other showcases with people. That always this set in my heart is just the art community, you know.
Okay. Well, in Philly, it was the Black Lily back in the early 2000s.
Okay.
I mean, in Baltimore, was it a weekly open mic event?
Baltimore, it was people would have showcases like variety shows.
Okay.
The legendary Ricky Shackelford would have like comedy shows, but you would like have to sell tickets to perform, like get your little 7 minutes in. It was the only consistent one that was going on once a month. And then you would perform, and then somebody be praise dancing, and then somebody be rapping about selling drugs and shooting people, and then somebody else would be doing. It was just like a whole crazy thing, and you would be going after some lady. Like one time, whenever the lady, I was like, I just want to tell everybody, my son got shot, and I just want to praise God. And then she just started doing a praise dance, and the dude right after her was like, get money, shoot people, and all. I was just like, he was like, yeah, you next. So I just remember like this is the only place I get to perform. But that's why I was like, I got to try other places and go to open mics where people are just, you know, doing their own thing. And I would just get up there and do my stand up.
So did you go up and down 95 to get your stage time?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was on Ritchie Highway where that variety show was. And then I started to, you know, like I realized like I can do this myself, man, because I started to have like a nice little audience back in the MySpace days, and I would look at I was like, you know what, I can like get my own show. I can try it out, and I did my own first show. 11 people showed up, but I was excited because this was my baby. This is my show, and I realized like I just got to push more and just keep staying consistent and get out of town too. I got to get out of Baltimore, so that helped a lot too. So yeah.
Right. So, what would you consider your first major break?
My first major break. That's a good question, man. Because wow, you mean like as far as stand up? I think opening for people. I will open for a lot of rap artists that would come to town, like KRS-One and who else? Rakim. There were a few places like that like really like kind of had me battle tested, but I think I kind of had a break when I quit. I quit my job to do stand up full time, and I was just like, I'm gonna just take the bumps and bruises. Whatever happens, I gotta do this. You know what I mean? And it went to a little depressing little part, and I was doing Uber lifts. I was Ubering, you know what I'm saying? And I was just like, I'm gonna do this. You know what I'm saying? And I think me going to Atlanta, me going to New York, and me going to LA on my own was where the change happened, because more eyes were on me and people were like, no, you need to move here. Like you don't need to, you from Baltimore, why are you not living here? Like every time I would go to these different places, Atlanta, New York, or LA, the people would say, you going back home? I'd be like, yeah. Because I would just I would go there for like a week and just give it my all every night, just perform in different places and set myself up in different like contests and festivals. And that's when I was like, I think I got it. I was still broke. I was still maxing out credit cards just to go and buying flights and hotels, but it was like it was picking up, man. And then, but once I quit teaching, and then I got with Jess, Jess Hilarious. I got with her. That was a big break for me because I helped her with stand up, and she helped me with just the road and just putting more eyes on me and putting me on display in front of different cities night after night. You know what I'm saying? But
Right.
yeah,
Just Hilarious is
that's my
your
girl, man.
you guys co-headline your Road Dogs together.
But Jess picked the most dumbest movies though. The movies that she picked, they be some unnamed brand ass shit that you just got, and she be like, "Come on, yo, let's watch it." Then she fall the fuck asleep.
They're hidden gems.
People know her more as a social media comedian.
Yeah.
Like what did you learn from her about that game?
But from that, we met at an open mic around the time right before I quit teaching. And she would come to open mics, and I was like kind of like the vet out of all of the open mic comedians because I was still teaching, so I had so much material from them kids. Man, teaching made me a better comedian too. And I would go to the open mics, and she would just be sitting there, just like watching the comedians. She would get up, do her time, but we would always have a conversation in between shows, and I always gave her little gems and kept her motivated. And she had a lot of she really wanted to do stand up. She was already known on social media, but she loved stand-up too. And me being around her a lot, she trusted me because I was just like one of the genuine comedians that just wanted to see her blow up and was always giving her something to take with her to make her better. And she started to do her own shows in the city, and she would ask me, could I headline? And I would be like, I ain't got nothing to do. I don't even care if you don't even pay me. I just, how you just want to get on stage because you got new material. And I would just do it for free. I was like, you ain't got to pay me, because she would ask other comics, and of course they're gonna try to, give her to get the high. And I was just like, I don't even care, and it don't matter to me. And once she hit the road, she was like, you gonna have to quit whatever job you have, because we're gonna go on the road. And I already was about to quit anyway. You know what I'm saying? So I had like little side jobs. She didn't know I quit teaching already. I had been quit teaching. But once I had my daughter, I was just like, I gotta do something, man. So it's like all that stuff happened at one time. I had my daughter. I didn't have no job. I was working all these side jobs at schools, but I wasn't like fully teaching. And then she was like, you just gonna have to quit whatever you're doing. And I was going to school full time. I was wilding. I was going to school full time, studying early childhood education and still doing stand up. I was bugging, man. I was on people.
Did you have like family pressure? Like what made you want to keep pursuing when you knew in your heart you had a certain
I love my kids, but it was like I felt like I was lying to them, because I would have conversations about following your dreams and just dropping everything to just take advantage of these moments. And when I like quit everything, it was just like a weight off of my shoulders. But at the same time, like therapy is good too. I talked to my therapist and she was like, you have to start letting stuff go to make room for your gift. You gotta let stuff go. Because I tried to hold on to so many things while doing it, but it was just like, nah, God has something for you. You got this gift for you, but you just keep trying to drag everything with you. But those people and those energies will understand because you've been working for this your whole life, really. You know, and once I started going on the road, everybody was so happy for me, and it really like it happened.
God, universe, serendipity, it's definitely shine favor on you for sure.
Yeah, man. It's like you can't ignore them little moments and them energies because they be there. You be trying like the night before I quit, for some reason, it was the night before Halloween. I just felt the energy like you're not gonna make it. You're not gonna make it. Like you're gonna have to leave. And it was like, should I wait till the end of the year? And that energy was like, no, tomorrow. That was the first time in my life that was something speaking to me that I didn't have control of. It was like, no, you got to quit tomorrow. And I went to school. I quit Halloween 2016. And that day, it was like I was dressed like a dead shot off of Suicide Squad, the Will Smith version. So I like the Walmart version of Will Smith. And they had a parade. And I just remember looking at all them kids waving to me. It was kind of like them saying goodbye to me.
Wow.
So all of that happened at the same time. They realized, I'm looking at me like I'm getting all misty eyed, like ready to cry. They're looking at me like, you all right? I'm like, I'm fine. And they all don't even realize this is the last time I'm gonna see a lot of these kids.
Your perception, your realm was in a whole nother.
Yeah, man. My mind was already. I had already left, but I was just
everything.
and I was just looking at these kids like, dang, man, I'm not gonna see them no more, man. And they was all hugging me. They were just like, yeah, all just excited about the parade and seeing me dressed up. But it was really like a cinder wave.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah,
well,
man.
So I know you're on the right path then. If that's a straight line then. Yeah. So I know you talk about your own family a lot in your material. And I see that on your Instagram as well. Did you just have a new child, another child?
Yeah, man, another girl. We tried for a boy, man. I think we're done, man. I'm tapping out. This is it. This is me and the cat, man. I got 3 girls, man. So yeah, I'm tapping out. This is it.
Look through your kids' internet history. That's where you find out some shit. Look through the internet. You find out a lot about your child and their fucking internet history. Let me tell y'all something right now. If you look through your child internet history and that shit is erased, you're too late. Your child is into some weird shit. They selling fucking ecstasy online and shit, looking up goat sex. You don't even know. You gonna find out some shit when they like 18. I'm telling you right now. I said, fuck. I looked through my daughter's phone. She's 10 years old. I said, when she fell asleep, I said, give me this goddamn phone. I started looking through the internet. First thing I looked through, she had 3 top searches on the internet. You know what I'm saying? The first top search was how to make slime. I don't know why the fuck she want to make slime all the time. Some of y'all parents know the kids, they be using up all the fucking detergent in the house. I buy her slime. She's like, no, I want the ingredients. I'm like, the fuck you making crack? Like, why the fuck I gotta buy all the supplies and shit? I'm trying to cut out the middleman. Just kidding.
Yeah, my material a lot, man, because you don't realize, they're right in front of you all the time. It's just material that writes itself. And, I love spending time with them. I love doing for them. I try to make sure I keep my life as balanced as I can. I don't want to, because I've heard a lot of comics, they come home and then they mad because they're out on the road and they treat their family like crap. And they just like, I don't want them to feel like I'm having a time of my life on the road and coming home to bills and issues in life. And I'm just like, but that's why I always, when I come home, I make sure I take them somewhere. We're going to David Buzzers, we're going out to eat, we're going somewhere to have some fun, because I have a lot of fun on the road, and I work hard to get to this point. But at the same time, I don't want y'all to ever feel like I don't love y'all and I value y'all just as much, but it's just a different kind of love. So yeah.
I want to talk to you about movies, and I know this movie, Black Little Mermaid's coming this summer, right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
For the spring. I'm sure you're gonna take your daughters to see that.
Yeah, they're pretty hyped. Yeah.
What's your feeling about the current state of Black movies? I mean, seeing you came up, I could be your dad, so we're a generation apart, but so I guess you started watching movies in the 90s.
It's funny because like I was born in 84 and Ghostbusters came out in 84. So it's like you really look like grow up like this movie been out. Like this is crazy. This is a good movie. This stuff was happening before I was here. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man, the state of Black movies, I love it because I can remember a time going to like the movie theater, wishing and hoping like there was somebody that looked like me in the movie. People nowadays, I think young people don't realize how important that is, because there was a time, even growing up in the 90s, how excited we were to see one black person in something. You know what I'm saying? Like when the Black Ranger came out, man, we was wilding. The Black or Power Ranger, one of them is black. That's all we need. We should be fighting. I'm the Black Ranger. I'm the Black. We didn't have that much representation in such, heroic themes, man. So it's very important, man, and it's beautiful to see so many of us as independent artists doing our own thing, doing our own movies. It's beautiful, man, because when you were a kid, I remember when being young, watching and live in color, and I always felt like Hollywood and LA was just like so far away from me. Even if I wanted to do this, you're not anywhere near that. You will never. It really make you feel like that, especially when you don't see a lot of your kind on the screen.
Right.
You really feel like I will never reach that. You know what I mean? And it's great to see all of us as influencers and actors and comedians just doing our own thing, man. It's beautiful.
You know what? Honestly, I mean, I've been doing this for 20 plus years. I haven't thought of it that way before,
Yeah.
because it always seemed within reach
Yeah, man.
to me because of Spike Lee.
Yeah.
know.
Oh, yeah. Most definitely. My dad definitely showed me.
That was my dream. My dream wasn't to act or to be in a movie. And I mean, you get to act and be in movies now,
Yeah.
right? I mean, can you talk about that?
Yeah. Like you, man. We family. I feel like we family. Like my dad brought me up on Spike Lee movies, man. Like this is bugging out right here on my arm.
Oh, get out. Okay, I saw the PE.
Yeah. And
Let's fight the power.
yep, my dad had me watching those movies because he really wanted me to see that we are doing this. Because I would ask questions like that, like, why ain't no black people on it? He was like, no, we got black stuff. Desi. He would show me these things and introduce me to Richard and Sidney Poitier and all them. That's why I got to like, Uptown Saturday Night and Let's Do It Again, because he would like sit me down and let me watch these movies to show, bro, we are on television, Desi. It may be not a lot of us, but we all going to come up. And I saw that progress. But me being able to be in movies now is a blessing, because before stand up, I was acting as a kid. My mother's a playwright. She wrote plays and different productions. She directed them, and I didn't have no choice. She was just busting my room with a script, like, here, your name is Junebug, so you got to remember this. We got a production in 2 months, and she would have me and my brother passing out flyers. There wasn't no Facebook, no Instagram. Then we had to promote on foot. Wasn't no media blasts. Me and my brother walking around different neighborhoods, getting chased by dogs, putting out flyers on people's porches and stuff like that. And she would pack the houses, man, for these plays. And she would have sometimes she would have speakers come, like Dr. Ivan Van Sertima, Dr. Clark, Maya Angelou. And it's funny because she has footage of this. She has old tapes of this stuff, and you can see me walking around with a little matted little afro, walking around with a little dress shirt on, handing out stuff in these rooms while these great people were speaking. So
we gotta get see that stuff. I have to slip you a couple bucks to your mom. You're on Reelblack TV. People love. You shouldn't mention that there's unseen footage of Ivan Van Sertima and Maya Angelou.
Yeah, all that.
It's
funny because she just starting to let me get tapes from when we were kids. There's certain tapes I don't trust, because I don't want you to take it to that person. It's a guy that develops the VHS to like a memory card for me, and she don't be trusting them. Sometimes she'll be like, I'll let you have this one, but you got to bring this back first before I give you another one. So, and I'll take it to the guy.
Well, all right, family, we got to make arrangements.
Yeah,
nothing's promised in life. While we have the connection, we got to get the Dr. Ivan Van Sertima.
Yeah, man, she got all that stuff, man. Yep.
Well, you said enough. You're elevated consciousness. So the pandemic, I think, helped a lot of comedians.
Yeah.
And social media, if you were ahead of the curve, if you were doing MySpace and all that kind of stuff before, I mean, when did you decide to go? At this point, when we're talking, I know you're on your way to 1 million followers, but you got 275,000 right now as we speak on May 3rd, 2023. I mean, what's it take to get to that level? I mean, like how much?
I say consistency and your own voice. You got to block out everything and just take a good year or two to be selfish. Get yourself a tripod. Get yourself, because sometimes it may be a circle of people you need to be around, or maybe you being by yourself. Me, it was me being by myself because I got tired of waiting on people. I got tired of waiting on comics. I got tired of people bluffing me on like meeting up to create. I felt like I didn't have enough resources, and sometimes you just be like, I'm just spinning my wheels here. And when I decided to just buy a tripod and just learn whatever little software I need to learn on my phone, because I got so much material I want to give, man, and I just can't just do it on the stage. And I feel like if I try this, it's that vibe, it's the energy. I was like, I feel like if I do this, something going to change. You know what I'm saying? Something going to happen. And I did my first video on, I think it was Facebook, and it went viral on Facebook. And it was like a real life situation. And then I started getting booked off of that video. While I was still teaching, I was like, I need to do this more often. And I went from doing like one video a week to 2 videos a week. And then I just like, I gotta focus and really figure out how I can just come up with different characters, topics, different, things that I know people can relate to and make them laugh. And that consistency, man, and just finding your own voice within your own cadence is so important. You know what I'm
So
saying?
do you play your bits as part of your show, or is it strictly straight stand up?
Stand up, yeah, straight stand up.
Okay. So you got to get is there a compilation? Is there a way that people can see, or they got to scroll through?
As far as what?
Scroll through and like.
As far as what, like my stand up?
To get to your Instagram viral videos.
Yeah, you got to scroll on Facebook. That was like 2015. It happened from a teacher, my gym teacher, called the house of one of my students, bad child. And the lady cussed her out and said, "Don't effing call my house. This is my time. Don't effing call my house around this time." So I made a video on the response of of a teacher talking to the parent. And it was like, really, I was really angry making this video. I was really, if you look at it, you can tell I was pissed. I was mad for her because I was in my mind thinking, I wish I would have called her and she told me that, because I would have let her have it. But I did that, and then like I just noticed I was getting so many notifications on Facebook, and it was just like back to back. I was like, what is going on? And I started getting more followers, and then from that, I got to start doing this on a consistent basis, man. So
wow,
yeah,
wow. It's funny how life intersects. So because you're as advertised, you're known through Instagram, but I really appreciate that we took the time, we got the time to get to know you better. Just a comic at heart, actor. Well, I found out you're an actor, comedian, filmmaker, right? TV show creator. What else? Father.
Yes, husband,
brother,
right, and motivator. Because I be having to motivate people too, man. Like I'm really good. Like I said, being on tour with Jess, sometimes she can get off her, like she can get in her head too much, which all of us can. And certain situations happen. If you don't have that right person in your corner to push you, you won't be able to come back. You won't be able to be as strong. And there's been a lot of situations in certain people's lives, man, that I've been there to have that conversation with them to push them. And Jess has had that. I don't know when Jess going through it. When Jess do a movie too long, or she around a lot of different energies and people that she don't know like that, and she feel like her energy going down, she called me like, "Yo, I don't know what's going on, man. I feel like we gotta have a session again, man." And I'd be like, "All right, just come on, we'll talk." And I just let her tell me what's going on in her life. And while she's talking, I just break all that stuff down into the material. And then I just keep pushing and tell her how important she is in this, you know what I mean? And then just get her wings back and she'll be fine. So
it sounds like therapy really helped you.
Yeah, man, definitely, man. And it don't even got to be a whole bunch. It just has to be somebody that sits with you and kind of knows where you're coming from, because you're able to. Because I believe stand up is therapy, man. Like stand up allows you to, be vulnerable and just be honest with yourself by being honest with other people and making them laugh about it and realizing it's just life. Life is, you can't take life too serious, because we can be in a whole different mind space, and we're blessed,
Exactly. So 5-year plan. Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
From here, acting, directing still, and just looking at teenagers, man. Looking at my daughters turning to grown up. Not without 5 years, but yeah, just still doing this. This is what I set out to do, man. So
I like that, man. So, and where can people find you?
You can find me. My website is comediandesi.com. My Instagram is Desi4018. Facebook, Desi Alexander, Facebook fan page. And yeah, that's it.
Desi Alexander, Moving Target Tour coming to your city this year, 2023.
Everywhere.
Everywhere. Watch out for him.
Oh, look at my grandbaby looking all grown. You are growing, girl. You are growing. You can take the sweater off of her when she get in the house, because I know you like to leave the stove open and it be hot all the time. Don't tell me what to do in my house. I'm cooking. Do you have enough bottles for her so she can eat? Just don't overfeed her, because you like to just leave it in the mouth. You gotta like do it every 2 hours. I raised all of y'all. Don't tell me how to feed a damn baby. Sometimes it changes. Look at them cheeks. If she get a little crust around her eye, you got to dab the breast milk and kind of dab the eye. I'm not wasting no breast milk. I got ginger ale. Got to mix it with Vaseline and stick it in her nose. That'll help her. You got all these damn suggestions. You just had a baby. I've been having babies. Just saying, don't say nothing. You got mail over here and shit. You got other stuff to worry about. Well, tell me what to do. Act like you my damn parent. Do you want me to watch the baby or not? Ma, yes. Then grab her baby bag and bring it in the house. You ain't bring my damn Pepsi over here. Support her neck, man. Can you support her neck? Cause I got her neck. I'm about to wring your damn neck. Shoot.